If you're wondering if you should leave Germany because of the just concluded 2025 elections for the Bundestag, I hope at the end of this video, you will not be left more confused. It will be clarified. To be honest, why am I even making this video? I'm making this video because, first off, I know that the political climate, if you're in Germany or you're hoping to come to Germany, affects all of us, especially if you're an immigrant. And I know that I make content for a lot of people that are either in Germany or they're hoping to come to Germany. And so this video is just to shed some light with a little bit of humor, because if we don't laugh, you will cry. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ada of Ada's Place, and I make content around my life in Germany, the things you need to do if you want to come to Germany or you want to settle in Germany, how to find your feet in Germany, if that's a if that's the kind of content you are into, then please subscribe to the channel, like and follow for more content. Okay, let's go into the main gist of the day.
Germany's three-party coalition has collapsed after ministers from the Free Democrats quit the government.
So, a little bit of context. Germany is a country that is run by coalition parties. So, not one person or one party rules the government, unlike in most other countries. For example, Nigeria, where I am from. Nigeria is currently ruled by APC, but this is just to give you a context. However, in Germany, different parties come together. It's called a coalition in order for them to rule the country. And for a coalition to happen, they need to be up to 51%. However, there's a little caveat there. If one party can get 51% of the votes in the Bundestag, then they can actually rule the country. However, it's been a bit of a challenge to get just one party to rule the government. And the reason why they do this kind of coalition is for checks and balances. One person or one party cannot just send out or maybe issue a lot of laws without the other party checking them. And that is why the coalition exists, to create some kind of balance in the government. That aside, last year, the current, I would say current because the new vice chancellor has not been voted in yet, but the current chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, of the SPD party, sacked Minister of Finance. And the Minister of Finance is from a different party with which the SPD and that party are forming a coalition. And because he had sacked the finance minister, that's Christian Lindner, that government can no longer exist, right? And so he called for a vote of confidence, which he didn't pass. And that led us to an election this year. The essence of the election is to have a new vice chancellor come in. What was the reason of the misunderstanding between them? One person is saying, oh, let's put more money into financing the Ukraine war and some other things where money is going into. The finance minister is saying, oh no, we should not do this, we should not do that, blah, blah, blah. If you want to get the details, go to the news. This is just my analysis of what is happening as a lay woman. Anyways, this happened and one person, sacked the other person. We are now in 2025. The election had happened. However, prior to the election, a lot of parties were coming out and, they were giving their manifestos, trying to convince people to vote them and so on and so forth. Let's not forget a lot of other things had happened stemming from the increase in electricity. A lot of people have lost their lives based on attacks. A lot of subsidies have also been removed. For example, if you're using the Deutschland ticket, it's no longer 49 euros. They increased it early this year to 58 euros or like late last year. I don't quite remember. And for those that signed up for the Berlin ticket as an alternative, they scrapped that one too. Generally, things have been a little bit more difficult. Having this in mind, the political parties now say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and this should be the required or expected outcome. Now, we're going to pay attention to three major political parties. The first one is SPD, which is the current party that is being moved out of government. That's where Olaf Scholz is the leading person, our ex-chancellor of Germany. The second one, which is the CDU, which is moved by Friedrich Merz of the CDU. And finally, AFD, whose forerunner is Alice Weidel. Why these three parties? These three parties are significant because one of them is extremist. The other two say they are center-right and center-left. In case you don't understand what center-right, center-left and the rest means, the thing is, again, explaining to you as a lay woman, based on the societal values and the way the society is designed, there are people that believe in the traditional or more conservative way of doing things. That is the way that's, more, I would like to say, in tuned to religion, where freedom is not exactly freedom per se, in that people are more constrained. Things are done in a certain way. Things are done in the way of the forefathers, in the culture, the tradition, a man to one wife, they have their kids, things like that. So those are the people in the right. Then those in the left are those that are more liberal. You're more expressive. It's a form of art. If a man wants to marry a man, they are free, so long as, they're not endangering anyone. If a woman wants to marry a woman, they are free, so long as they're not endangering anyone, So those people are those in the left. And then technically, those in the right, the more traditional folks, they are known as the conservatives, while those in the left are known as liberals. If you also look at what's happening in the US, there is this right and left thing. Now, let's look at the context of the parties in Germany. So the CDU, they are the more traditional people, but then they're in the center right? The reason for that is that even though you're on the traditional side, you're also open to, some liberal ideas. That's why you're center right. They're not at the extreme end of the right wing, right? Are you with me? Okay. Then the SPD, they are those on the center left. So they are more on the liberal side. However, they still, pay attention to some traditional things. They're like open to taking advice or, looking at things from a traditional point of view. So even though they're on the left, they're not on the extreme left. And now we have AFD, who is an extremist. Why is AFD seen as an extremist? Now, don't get me wrong. AFD is a nationalist party. The way I see them as nationalists. They want the good of Germany. Most people want the good of Germany, which is a good thing, because if Germany is good, we all move forward. However, the issue is the way they are going about it, or the way they want to go about it. They are saying no to migration. The thing is, when it comes to migration, and the whole hot topic around migration, no one wants illegal immigrants in their country. There's a reason why they are called illegal immigrants. They're not saying you should not come in as a migrant, right? But nobody wants you to come in an illegal way. However, there are things that might happen that make people come in illegally. That notwithstanding, it doesn't make them less human. And so if people are, or if a party is saying no illegal immigration, they kind of have some kind of reasoning behind it, which is not a bad thing. Because to be honest, the things that have happened in the past, remember I said that there has been people that, that lost their lives based on cases. We had a case sometime last year where a man ran into a crowd with his car and killed a lot of people, and a lot of people were injured. Things like that have happened repeatedly. There have also been cases of people stabbing people, and they are perpetrated by some immigrants. And if we trace it back, they are illegal immigrants. So naturally, this thing will make people living in Germany to feel uncomfortable around immigrants. The issue is no one has a stamp on their head of illegal immigrant or legal immigrant. Now, why are there illegal immigrants in the world? There could be a case of, people escaping their countries for safety, and so they come into countries like Germany to seek asylum. They might not be granted the asylum. However, they are in the country. So, that is one case. There's also the case of people just wanting a good life, but they cannot meet the requirements of a proper visa application. And so they find ways. You see them taking boats, trekking, like different ways to come into the country, going from one country to the other to come into a country like Germany. They are undocumented, and so they are illegal immigrants. Some people come into Germany as tourists, overstay their visas, and then stay here illegally. There are different reasons why people come into countries illegally, right? But I think fundamentally, it's for a better life, generally, not always the case. There are people that come in to just cause mayhem, but we're not talking about them right now. It's fundamentally to just have a better life for themselves and for their families, right? And so the AFD party, the reason they are being seen as extremists is that they are saying no to illegal migration and also legal migration, which is a bit because legal migrants, we come in here, we work, we pay our taxes, we're minding our business, we're trying not to cause problems anywhere, and you're uncomfortable with, So it makes people now wonder, okay, so where do we stay or where do we fit in this spectrum? Now, that is the AFD, they have something called remigration. And to them, they're saying that everyone has to go back to their country of birth. It doesn't matter the kind of passport you have. It doesn't matter if you have a German passport. It doesn't matter how many pages your German passport is. When it's time for remigration, you have to pack your things and get back to where you're from. Now, it's causing a lot of controversy because a lot of people, they've left the country a long time ago. They don't want to go back. So you forcing them against their will to go back, of course, it's an issue. Now, migration aside, they are saying that Germans themselves would have to start, because again, let's not forget that Germany is in dire need of professionals to come in and work, right? They're saying that the issue is that Germans have to start giving birth to more kids, because statistically, for every pure German, like a baby born from German parents, there are 6 immigrant children born in Germany. And so, of course, the birth rate of immigrant children is higher than that of Germans. And if this happens, or AFD, their proposal is that Germans have to start giving birth. I don't know if the party is forgetting that giving birth is a thing of choice. Not everyone wants to have kids. And if Germans have decided not to have kids, is their prerogative. It's what they want, right? And then again, let's not forget that when you have these children don't start working as early as 1 year old. They have to grow. They have to be trained. These things take time. Anyways, I digress. Another thing the party said they're going to do was that they're going to bring in AI to come and do a lot of, robots, machine. I'm like, who will control these things? Aren't the human beings that will control these things? I mean, don't get me wrong. We want to be forward. We want to be digitized. We want to. But aren't people going to build these things? And aren't people going to manage these things? But we digress. So that's why the AFD, they are seen as extremists. Again, don't get me wrong. I think at the end of the day, they just want what's best for Germany and for Germans because they have the country at heart. But the way they're going about it is, a bit, And if you look at it from a lens, you'd be like, fundamentally, it's against human rights. But that's aside. Now, SPD, which is the center left, the Liberal Party, the people that were in power, but now they are now trying to, vote them out. For them, they're a little bit more liberal. They are the ones that, made immigration very easy. They're the ones that lowered some of the requirements to get a PR, to get a passport in Germany. They are the ones that are also helping, Ukraine, for example, to fight the war, funding and doing all of these things. Because again, more liberal, more humane, and so on and so forth. However, the thing is, you cannot really give and give and give such that you begin to lose yourself. Right? And that's where I feel Germans are having issues. They're like, I know you're trying to do this with good intentions and all of that, but we, the people of the land, the indigens, we are not really benefiting as much. Like, we want more. Cost of living is high. Companies like Volkswagen, Mercedes, big companies that Germany is known for, they're beginning to lay off workers because the cost of electricity is high. They cannot afford to pay electricity bills and also have workers that are in the country. People are being laid off left, right, and center. We know that, we need people to work. But the cost of managing these people, the cost of managing the country, the cost of managing these resources is getting higher and higher. And all of this, the money is going into taking care of immigrants, but illegal immigrants, so to speak, asylum seekers, because they are in the country, they aren't working, but, they are given stipends to kind of maintain their cost of living, for them to be alive, basically. So it's making people feel very uncomfortable. They get that you're trying to do good, but, not to their own expense, which fundamentally makes sense, again, at least to me. Again, let's hear. This is my own personal Opinion. Good. So fundamentally, it makes sense. But people are feeling like, okay, it's beginning to get a little bit out of hand. And remember, the said illegal immigrants or the said people that are coming into the country, they are the ones that are attacking the Germans that are here. People are not even living in peace. So what can we do about this? And that's why the SPD, they are being kind of ruled out. I don't want to use the word kicked out, but they are being shifted out of the government so that other parties that have better plans, for the country can come to the limelight. Yeah. And this is where CDU comes in. Now, CDU, they are the center right. So they are, more on the conservative side. However, they understand the importance of immigrants in the country. They know that, of course, people need to work, and they are all about, legal migration. They're all about people coming to work, people coming to pay taxes and all of that to help the country move. However, they are very strict about illegal migrants. They also don't want illegal migration, which again makes sense because, to be honest, nobody wants people into their house that they can't account for. Do you get? If I'm letting you into my apartment, I need to kind of know you to a certain degree. At least let me know where you're coming from. Let me know your name and all of that. And I kind of need to know if I can trust you. And so they want to make migration a bit stricter. So now we've seen all of this, right? The CDU won the just concluded elections, which is technically not a bad thing, right? The AFD, the extremists, came second. And then it makes people now wonder, I thought people say people don't like these people. I thought, they are extremists. I thought, they have all these plans in mind that, it's not really helping. Who voted them in? It makes me remember what happened in America. Everyone was like, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. How did the man win? By a landslide. Who voted him in? And it's like those that are online crying and saying, oh no, this, him, that. People that are offline voting. That's the issue. So now AFD now came second, and we're like, normally the party that comes first usually go into a coalition with the party that came second. But then CDU have said they would not have any coalition with AFD. Other parties too have said they will not have any coalition with AFD because AFD is an extremist group. Although they claim they're not extreme, but their claim is different, based on what we've seen and based on, the things that they say they're going to do. It's a bit on the high side. So now CDU is saying that they are not going to go into coalition with AFD, of course. So they are going to look for other parties to go into coalition with. So the CDU, they had 28.5%. The AFD had 20%. The SPD had 16% of seats in the Bundestag, right? So 28, 20, difference of 8%, and then 16. As I said, you have to, for a party to be in power, they need to have like 51%, but two or more parties can come together to form the 51% and then go into government. So they'll become the ruling party, right? Like the ruling people. And so if the CDU is saying they're not going to go into a coalition with AFD, the question is, okay, so who will they go into a coalition with? Right now, they are having the discussions, and people are speculating that they will most likely go into a coalition with SPD or any other party. But right now, it's just a speculation. As far as I know, or as far as when this video is being recorded, there has not been a decision yet. The problem is that before the election happened, and, with everyone saying, oh, we're not going to a coalition with AFD, we're not going to a coalition with AFD, the leader of the CDU, Friedrich Merz, proposed a bill saying that, migrants at the border should be sent back. Guess what he did? He decided to get votes from the AFD. The same AFD that he said he wasn't going to go into coalition with, which makes me think, is this party to be trusted? Should we trust what's going on? Because it's pretty much doing, the more you look, the less you see. You don't know what to expect. And to be honest, the way this year has been going so far, elections in the US, now in Germany, Nigeria, and they're own problems is pretty much given. The more you look, the less you see. Again, they won. The CDU, they won. At this point, we just have to hope for the best. We have to, hope that the rules or the laws they set in place does not affect us in a negative way. Affect legal migrants in a negative way, at least, One thing, though, that they said is that they're going to take out family reunion, which I see why, but I also feel like taking family reunion out technically, like entirely, is not the right approach. They can put some checks and balances to family reunion. For example, instead of asylum seekers to, have the family or illegal immigrants to do family reunion, they can allow family reunion for skilled workers, because it doesn't make sense that I'm in the country as a skilled worker, but my spouse is not allowed into the country. So I'm just here working for myself. My kids can come over, my spouse can come over. It's not making it interesting for me to come in and work. But I understand that if, for example, the asylum seekers or those that are dependent on the government, they are coming in and then they bring their own family to also come in, it increases the dependence on the government and they don't want it. So I feel something should be done there. Taking it out entirely, the math is not mathing, right? So how should we move forward? At the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, in as much as there are different policies that are out there, there are different parties, that want to come in and they want the best for the country, allegedly. Germany is their country, at least, because for people like us that don't have a passport yet, we are not Germans. So they can decide to do whatever it is they want to do for their own best interests, right? And so if tomorrow we have a situation where they say everyone should leave, you as an immigrant stay into context. If you're in someone's house and they tell you to pack your things and get out, you stay in there to context and tell them, we cannot say, what do you mean? It's to your own detriment. It's either you leave or they make the place a living hell for you and you will be forced to leave. Yeah? That's what will happen in the extreme case. Nobody prays for that to happen. However, with the way AFD came second, with just 8% difference from CDU, I won't lie, it's giving me it's making my body shiver. It's making me feel like, And this is the first time they are being moved, they are being in the limelight like this. They've been in, AFD was not created today. They've been there for a while, but people were not really, voting for them. But because of all the mayhem that has happened so far, political changes, as I said, inflation, cost of things, everything has just been going up. People are just looking for the opposite of what is happening. And the opposite of what is happening is, these guys. So they just want someone that would be different by all means. And that's why I think these people, that AFD got more votes. So I will not be surprised if AFD wins the next election. Let's hope it does not happen. But if it does happen, I will not be surprised, because we were all here when what happened in America happened. So again, I will not be surprised. But I think if the CDU don't perform, if there is no positive change in the economy, there's no positive change in security, there's no positive change in the cost of living generally of, people living in Germany, the Germans themselves, and, the immigrants alike, it's going to raise a lot of fumes. People are going to get even madder. People are going to feel infuriated. And it would give the AFD more penetrating rights to come into the country. Anyways, right now, we just have to trust God and hope for the best. Because to be honest, if you ask me, should I continue with if I'm, maybe you're in the process of getting a passport, should you continue with the passport application process? I'll tell you, of course, continue, don't stop. But bear in mind that if the extremists come to power, your passport will not technically be functioning. Because if they say everyone should leave Germany, everyone that is not a German by birth, or how do you say, it's not ethnically German, should leave the country, you're moving. You are gonna move. So the passport then will not help you. I guess that's the word. But yeah, again, all my opinions They are my opinions. But yeah, that's how I make sense of what's going on in the political climate right now. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I hope this video has helped to shed more light and kind of reduce the tension a bit. Let's hope for the best. If God be for us, no one can be against us. That's my mantra. That's what I believe. So yeah, let's hope for the best and see where it takes us. Anyway, my loves, I'll see you in my next video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and do all the fun stuff. Yeah, I'll see you. Choose.